at that stage, the early days of GSM, we hadn't had texting hadn't come in yet, did it? I mean,
no. So I started that. So initially, texting was in the technology and in the technical standards, but to actually implement it, you needed to be able to send text messages from one network to another.
Yes.
So initially, texting had different names on the different operator networks of Vodafone or Mercury One-to-One and Cellnet. I pulled the operators together in about 1998, so some 5 years or so after the launch of the GSM networks. And I said, shall we try something different as it's not working well today? And we started to say, well, yes, let's all call it the same thing. So instead of calling SMS, let's call it text. Let's do a cross-industry campaign that says, this is how you do it. So we teach people to text. We had a campaign which was called Teach Your Mum to Text. We also did some interviews and put a bit of money into publicity, but we also particularly made sure that we sent text messages to each other. So a Cellnet customer could send text to a Vodafone customer and vice versa. And when you start to make it available to all and promote it with certain handsets and certain publicity, from there on it booms, and it went from something like 30 million in 1998 to $1 billion in 1999, just in the UK. And it peaked at about 150, 155 billion about 4 years ago. Clearly now for messaging, people have got other alternatives available to them, like instant messaging or email or things like that.
And today, when people have got smartphones in their hand, they think nothing about watching TV on their smartphones. But my understanding is you were involved in some of the first trials of mobile TV.
Yeah, so we knew that we were moving from a verbal to a visual world, and the first illustration of visual was text. The second illustration was email, and the first 2.5G handsets, like the BlackBerry, it was Cellnet that brought those into Europe and was the first company to do that. So Cellnet's always been innovative with smartphones, whether it's the Microsoft XDA or even the Apple iPhone. We were the first in the UK to buy and resell the iPhone in the UK. But irrespective of the devices, we went through texting, through mobile internet, through email, through to subsequent trials in mobile video. With mobile video, we wanted to understand what type of programs customers would watch. How long would they look at a small screen? Did it matter if it was a black and white screen or a colour screen? Did they want to look at the internet? So we were testing different things. And those Oxford trials that we did in about 1996 or thereabouts were pivotal and actually have taught us a lot about people's habits now in terms of how mobile video is used today.